All right. Evening. What's up, story time? Good to see you. All right. So we're back again. Big shock. Actually, it is big shock because it means I actually am streaming twice this week. Playing a fun game? Nice. It's always good. Alright, I don't know how much I'm going to get done. I have been, like, stupid tired. For no good reason. All month. And it kind of is driving me crazy because I have so much I need to get done. I need to figure out how I want to do this. I want to take another look at this. I need to do the book. Part of me wants to add the net here. I also need to do, like... There's a couple things I need to do on this page, but I'm going to go and move on for now. Part of me wants to just have him go down by a rope. So why not? Maybe he doesn't have the net with him. I'm gonna grab some reference, import 3D data. And we're gonna grab the ship. Oh, there's some. How's my day? Not terrible. No work today, which I was actually kind of okay with. Like I said, I've been really tired. I keep wanting to get more done on these days where I don't have work, but it's just not happening. Which is, you know, it is what it is. Okay. So, all right. This. I really should be getting more done, honestly, but it's just like, I don't know. I think I'm just in a slump right now that I gotta kind of work out of. Don't have that good momentum, so I'm being very lazy. It's like, no, I have so much to get done. But yeah, not sure what it is. This isn't right. Teacher was yelling at everybody, you know, that's always fun. One of those days. Okay, you know, this thumbnail leaves a lot to be desired. Like most of my thumbnails. I'm gonna... Should I do the detail work? Part of me doesn't want to do it right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do the detail work just to kind of warm up. because that will help. Been making animations, but never posting them. It's good to get used to posting your stuff, honestly. But I get that. You don't have to post everything. I certainly have a lot I don't post. Oh, come on. What? What's going on? Oh, it's because it's too close to the thing. There we go. Got a bunch of art stuff? Nice. That's always nice. There's probably more I can do, but a lot of it's going to be covered up. Let me take some chips out of the... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, we'll keep adding to that, but for now, I'm actually going to do a 5x2 layer because that's just it's nice, not having to worry about it. Turn that down. Okay, I vaguely know his pose. I might do a sketch layer, honestly. Let's go and do that. Because otherwise it's gonna be real annoying trying to figure out what in the world this guy is supposed to look like. Why it's good to be specific with your thumbnail. Well, okay. If you're doing it the dumb way, which I am, which is to say, you know, working straight off of the thumbnail going into line art, it's good to be specific with your thumbnails. You know what else is good? Pencil. I don't do that, really. Okay. So, I know this, let's actually, we're gonna have him plant his foot here because that makes more sense. And we're gonna do... Yeah, that's better. Found my other live stream. Well, it should, both of them should be around. So, makes sense. Actually, that's good because it means that it's easy enough to get to either one. Let's do that. And then honestly, I should probably consider the perspective. I should get more rotund down here. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's do this right. So the perspective is, so we have the box up here, and we're seeing him from which angle do I want it? So back here. Yeah, so actually come back here. And then something like that. Hey, what's up? Just stopped by to say hi. New video essay, huh? Nice. Glad you're able to stop by, man. Good luck with the video. And appreciate it, as always. Okay, let's think about the that. Actually, yeah. More out. So which one was lagging really badly? Was it the desktop one or the vertical one? Because neither are lagging for me, but it wouldn't exactly. Well, I have good connection, but that would be good to look into if it's having problems. Be really irritating if it was, because I should be fine. So the one that works well is the one that looks like a YouTube short, or the one that's lagging is the one that looks like a YouTube short? That's a heck of a way to introduce yourself there, M. Young. I'm a little busy right now. Goodness knows I haven't. Oh, yeah, nah. Goodness knows I haven't read Warriors, and good grief. How long has it been? Could I try? Well, maybe later. although I don't really do requests right now. Gonna let you out on a secret. Going into someone's stream and begging them to draw you stuff, not a good look, man. So, answer's no. I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with a lot of this. Honestly, I probably should kind of warm up. This is going to be kind of a tricky pose, so I'm going to give myself a few times to see if I can get it right. I think I need to focus on the body more first before I start getting into the cloak. And getting... Let's start with the body, actually. So we have... body, we have... Let's see. I knew this pose was going to be tricky. And going into it cold, I'm really, like, the big mistake that I'm making, like if you want to know how to be an actually good artist, do warm-ups. And I'm most definitely not warmed up. Let's try kind of just loosening up a bit. And, other hand, I could have the leg not down so far. So maybe like kind of on this, like going this way. How do I want to do this? All right. Shrink this down. Hold on. Let's try something. The neck there, because why not? I want more curve to his back. We're gonna... A lot of this is going to be covered up, but it will inform how the cloak will cover the body, which will be nice. I could be here a while trying to figure this out. Hey, what's up, King Bob? Good to see you. Stopping by, as always. We're failing to draw right now, as usual. You know, I'm gonna do this the right. I'm gonna warm up. I'm gonna do some warm-ups. I'm just gonna kind of draw some poses and stuff, just to kind of help myself here. Just kind of remind myself of his form. Because he has a bit of a weird body, the way he stands and such, and then just how long his arms are as well. It actually felt pretty good. I felt like I was able to whip that out pretty quick. Churches over and over again. It's hauntingly beautiful. Boy, it's been a long time since I've listened to Churches as well. I don't know if I've ever heard that one. Feel free to send that one over to me over on the Discord if you like. I'm all for that atmosphere, electronic kind of stuff. Never really got into Churches, but they've got some also. All right stuff. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get really kind of expressive with the body here. So, okay. Okay, I'll check it out then. Cover the theme from Lost Boys. Yeah, every now and again, you know, you'll get something, you get a group or something like that that you know, might the general tone of the band or whatever might not be your thing, but they'll hit something kind of special. Hey, what's up, Wrangler? Been a little while, I think. Maybe no, he stopped by not too long ago. Hope you're doing well, regardless. Let's play around with something here. Okay. So we're gonna here's a neat like little trick if you're ever like kind of struggling with perspective for all you artists out there. putting the character inside of a box and then figuring out the perspective of the box is a lot easier to kind of like get a foundational sort of idea. So, and that doesn't have to be perfect either, especially if it's just a quick sketch. But now we have kind of an idea of how we can approach it, and we have a kind of a base plate to kind of put the feet, as it were. So let's go ahead. All right. I'm just trying to get comfortable with more uncomfortable angles. Second one was lousy, but the third one I enjoyed thoroughly. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Lost Boy, as in like there's a movie, right? It's a movie. Okay. Now, one thing. Let me take another look. Okay, I do like. Let's give this another shot here. Almost tempted to. Let's really. We're gonna push this down so that it doesn't distract me as much. Because I want the hand here. In fact, I want the hand a little bit bigger because I want the harpoon really like prominent. So this may inform how we're gonna do this. You know what? I can make her smaller. That'll make it more dramatic. And because she's smaller, his head can be smaller. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I've never watched it. We don't need it this far out. In fact, we can kind of... I don't have to worry about him being too fat, because technically his body would be like that. But that's okay, because that's all going to be covered up anyway. Well, you know what? No, it's not. Because actually, I want to have a very specific idea of where his body lies, so that when I do the cloak... Okay. Something like that. You know what? I actually just kind of want to have the leg just kind of out of the way. Second leg. I wonder if I could just logically kind of cover it up, because it doesn't, or maybe like out there. That's awkward. See, it would, so, you know, this is leg 1, right? Leg 2 would be here and would go off in this direction. So yeah, that's all you would see of it. And I think that that will be covered up in the cloak. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Speaking of the cloak, gonna fall down here, kind of get all scuffed up here. And then it's gonna come up here. Actually, again, I want to have it kind of and now, actually, yeah, we can erase the foot, and we're gonna erase most of the arm, the body. This clip covers up most of it. There we go. Now we're getting closer. And this will trace back up the arm about that point. Which point? Who cares? I need to clean this up. Hey, what's up, Firebug? Good to see you. Okay, there we go. And the rope coming down. Sure, we'll go with that. That'll give what we need. By the way, how does the desktop for you guys look on the desktop side? Actually, Firebug, it looks like you're the only one there. Is it laggy for you by chance? Because I'm still, according to another chat member, might be a little botched. And if that's the case, then I need to see if I can try and fix it. That's really annoying if that's the case, because it shouldn't be. Should be fine. Was twice on the last stream. Okay, sick. Yeah, maybe it's not great for some people, which isn't the best, but at least it's not like consistently horrible. It sounds like, which is good. I want the rope to come out this way. Which, actually, come to think of it, I need to actually increase the size of the hand. Let's do that. We're getting real exaggerated with the perspective here, but that's kind of what I want. I want to push things like that, because that's a lot of where there's a lot of kind of magic stuff in composition and such. Well, I'm glad that the king's image is coming in solid there, King Bob. Although it's funny because, like, it seems like the vertical version, the phone version, always comes in good. I don't know why. At least there's one decent picture to watch. Okay. Okay, let's go with that. And for the fun of it, we're gonna also sketch her out, because it just makes everything easier. Actually, I want. Actually, you know, hold on. Because the body is going to be about here. So I want the neck to actually be like craning. Touch. And she's going to be clutching the cloak because it's cold. And she's nervous as well because, you know, strangers showing up to your porch when you're in the middle of a desert is never good. It's never good, especially when they look like these guys. Yeah, she has a right to be nervous. Okay, let me see if I can. Oh my goodness. Unless wood is their weakness and water can kill them or whatever was the crap excuse for a movie. Which movie? I don't think I remember that movie. Oh, Signs, yeah. That's right. Well, no, they don't get killed by water. Or a baseball bat, for that matter. But, they're going against this guy, so, you know. Oh, shoot, I just realized I also need to consider how I'm doing that, which, yeah, that'll do. That should do it. Honestly, his poncho might be a little big in this scene, but that's okay. He's a big poncho. Funny enough, I never watched that movie, but I remember my brother telling me about it when we were young. And yeah, I think even he came to the conclusion that it was stupid that an alien race that doesn't like water invades a planet that's covered in 75% water. What, the fact that I'd never seen the movie? It was everywhere. I remember that movie being like, is popular the right word? Like it seemed like everyone watched it. It was a big deal. It seemed like everyone watched it and kind of came to the same conclusion that it really wasn't that good of a movie. But it was, for whatever reason, super big back in like, what, like 2004 or whenever it came out. Okay, that's, I like that. That's very dramatic. I like that. As opposed to the thumbnail, which looked like this. Good conceptually, but it needed work. That's for sure. That's where this comes from. So, okay. So, now that we have that, this thumb I'm actually okay with, so. It was a Shyamalan, wasn't it? Which I like Unbreakable and Sixth Sense, honestly. But yeah, that was... Wow, that was a Shyamalan, wasn't it? Oh my word. Yeah. I think the perspective works. It could be better, but it works. That's the key. Actually, I do want to make sure on the sketch. Honestly, like I said, I really should be warming up more than I am. Because that would be good. Actually, you know what? I always do this to myself where I curve this part in, but I really shouldn't because there's a banner that goes across, or like a part of the fabric that goes across that. That always makes it a hassle. Should we, you know what? Let's just, how does this look? Sure, we'll go with that. That's good enough. It clumping up right there, that makes sense. So we're just gonna kind of put that in, and then put it over here. And then right back as well. You know, it's funny, I don't know exactly why he wears a poncho. I think it's just because it's convenient and easy. Because he doesn't, like, get cold necessarily. Even in the winter. Or not winter, but even at night. I don't know, maybe he does, though. Like, because he's made out of clay, and clay can get cold. I don't know if he produces heat, though. Like, if he's cold-blooded or warm-blooded, as it were. Intriguing thoughts when you make a clay man. He technically bleeds, so he does have like something going on there. All right, let's yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make that. Go back up to line work 2. And now we need to select the rough pencil again. And we are going to just... I will, man, like, whenever I do these sketches like this to kind of figure things out, oh, it makes this part so much easier. Which is kind of telling. Like, I probably should do this more often, but I don't. Probably because I'm dumb. And think that skipping a vital part of the process is going to save time for me. Somehow. Truth be told, the reason that I do this is because when I initially started this comic, for one thing, it was a much simpler style that I was doing. And I started doing the penciling, and I was doing super fine penciling. And I realized, I was like, I really like this. I really like this line work. Like, I don't want to redo it. Like, that just feels like a waste of time. Like, I feel like the line work is like done. So I just turned it on monochrome. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much exactly the look I'm going for. And so that's been the process ever since. Even as the art style has advanced, which makes it kind of hard. But that's why I bust out the sketch layer when I need it. You personally go from the rough sketch to the line art? Yeah, it's really easy to like do that. But the best results are the ones where you actually take your time and you go through, you do the rough initial kind of thumbnail, you do the rough sketch, you refine the sketch and tie it down, and then you do the cleaner line work. There are some styles you can get away with though, if it's simple enough. And very like shape heavy and not really reliant on like especially thorough perspective or whatever. Let's see here. And the nice thing is, you know, like, sometimes I feel like I get too precise with the line work in this series, but like, sometimes I feel like I like get right into that zone where you can just keep it rough, but it looks complete. That's always fun. Kind of around Western superhero comics too. Just an impatient. Ah, yeah, that's the tricky part. I will say when at one point some work I had issued me an iPad and I had Procreate on it for teaching and such. And I will say, man, like having that little device like to be able to like sketch whenever was awesome. Eventually, once I left that job, I was like, okay, I've got to get an iPad with Procreate on it, just so I can keep doing that. Because it really does help having a device where it's just like, yeah, you can just sketch all the time, you know. Truth be told, I've kind of fallen out of that habit, and I kind of feel it. Feel like I need to get back into that habit, because it really does kind of keep your chops up, which is nice. So yeah, getting a good device, either secondhand or you know, a cheaper device that you can just carry with you, man. That's handy for sure. Oh, Danimal Candy. Actually, funny enough, that was how I developed my black and white inking style, which I haven't done in a while. I need to get back into the groove with that, because I actually offer it as a commission now. You can check that out on Ko-Fi if you're interested. Link down in the description. And I basically, for Inktober of, I think it was 22, I decided to do the whole thing, which is actually also available over on my YouTube as a time lapse, which is fun. And it was really fun to get to like sit down and develop that style and draw on it every day and just like be really loose and fast and whatnot. You don't have to like, not PCD has to be like a masterpiece, right? It's just a matter of just the repetition of it that makes it better. You don't like drawing in public. That's fair. Just a little bit nerve-wracking. I will say, like, streaming has kind of helped me get over that, for sure. Streaming has helped me a lot in different ways and stuff like that, like, you know, public speaking even. I don't have really a problem with that, because, you know, you log in, you do that, you know, every week. Definitely helps in that regard. The nice thing is that when you do start to kind of draw more in public and stuff like that, you really learn that, like, I've never had anyone like bother me or anything like that. I guess it depends on where you are and who's around and stuff like that, but personally, I don't think people really care. And usually worst is like they want to just start a conversation, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. Yeah, I'll try to watch it. Yeah. Well, you can't help curiosity, I suppose. Honestly, what I want to start doing more of is just like get into the habit of just laying on the couch and drawing. Just doodling. I need to get back into doodling and sketching and everything like that. I get stuck in these ruts where I'll like everything I'm doing kind of is like design work, I guess. So every time I pick up the pencil, it's like it's for a job or it's for a project or something like that. So it requires precision, I guess. It's going for a specific look. It's going for you know, an end, right? A finished idea. And I noticed that, you know, with sketching, when I was getting into black and white sketching and such, my ability was improving a lot better because I had a much more like reckless abandon to the way I was drawing. So I was experimenting around more. I was playing around. I was like conceptualizing less, and I was just going for it. It was just like basic ideas would pop into my head, and then it was just like, okay, well let's go for that, and then see what I can do. And whatever I was able to pull off was good enough. That was kind of the fun thing about doing Inktober, honestly. And I actually do like really encourage, in general, like even if it's not Inktober, doing something like that where it's like every day, put aside however much time you have, whether it's, you know, an hour or even just like 5 minutes, and doing something for a prompt. I should do that with animation, honestly. That'd be really fun. Draw things to yeah. It's good to kind of break out. I mean, I've been working on this comic for 4 years, and kind of my takeaway for doing that is, I guess, 3, 4, something like that. I guess my takeaway has been like, there's only so much a project can really teach you, because any improvement that you have made isn't being capitalized on, really. Sometimes it is. Like if you have a comic where like you're gonna make progress regardless, right? Like I'm a much better artist since starting this, just from working on this comic than when I started. But that being said, like part of me is trying to keep it consistent to my old way of thinking, which might not have been the best approach, right? In fact, like guarantee it wasn't. But it's what I'm stuck with. So it's one of those things where it's the reason why it's really good to just crank out projects, is because a new project will give you a new chance to really like reformulate your style and develop, and will actually make it better. You'll definitely see more improvement as well, a lot quicker. But that's why it's good to have multiple things you're kind of working on. Which reminds me, I have a lot of things I need to work on. It's why it's been kind of frustrating this month, because it's like, man, I have so many things I need to work on, and yeah, I don't feel like doing any of it. You know, it's like, it shouldn't matter. I shouldn't care about feeling about working on things. I should just work on them. I don't know. I think part of it's just my unorthodox sleeping schedule. What kind of comic are you making, by the way? I think you mentioned something about being like in the same kind of semi-realistic style as like superhero comics and stuff like that. Is that kind of what you're drawing into or wanting to get into? It? Been about an hour. Okay. Faster for you to draw. That's fair. Definitely good to do studies then if you want to get into semi-realistic stuff or whatnot. But it's also good to do those simpler projects to get a good sense of process. So both are really, really important. Hopefully humans have turned in more studies, get a better workflow. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have goals like that. Honestly, it's a lot to really bite off a project like what I've done and stick to it. Kinda don't recommend it. Unless you really have like an idea that you're driven by or something like that. But even then it's good to like work into that, I guess. Let's actually. So, fun fact: that "Hit It" sample that you just heard, maybe you heard it. I don't know. It may have been a little quiet. That gets used a ton in chiptune. Part of the reason for that is because LSDJ, the Game Boy program, for making music and stuff like that, has that built in as a sample. So you always hear it crop up, so it always makes me kind of smile when I hear it. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've messed around with that sample. Kind of like a Wilhelm scream kind of situation, only less annoying. Guess we'll pretend that's a good hand. Wait. I had probably would on. If that's the case, then that pinky finger would be going the other way, which makes sense. Let's do that. Yeah, LSDJ. So LSDJ was a program made back in, like, I don't know, like 2002 or 1999 or something like that by one guy, and became a huge program within the chiptune scene. So the style of music that we're listening to, for those who don't know. And within that program is the sample, the "Hit It" sample that comes up a lot. Technically, it's taken from something else, I think, so it's not the only source for it. It was based off of something or something. We need to get rid of this. Which reminds me, I have it. I have that program. Also, I just noticed. Doggone it. Give me a second here. I might be a little bit quiet because my board's acting up and it's only sending half the sound out. So, whatever. Should be mono though, so hopefully it's not in one ear. Let me know if it is. Oh wait, no, I can see it. It's not. Good. That's annoying. So the board that I'm using is a an old Mackie, what's called a Mackie, just the brand, and thing's friggin' ancient by tech standards. So sometimes the channels are really flaky. which is annoying because it's otherwise a really good board and does everything I need it to and has 24 channels, so I can hook everything into it. But it just is kind of a hassle to have to tear it down every now and again and clean it because it still isn't at 100%. Okay, do that. And we can keep that tucked away. Hello, Maji. No, I think I've got it balanced right. I think it should sound good enough. It's just annoying when I look over and only one of the meters is going up. It's like, daggone it. But that's more for a problem for me to solve and then for you guys to worry about. So. But a little bit of behind the scenes goodness. It's honestly a great board. I really do like this board because it's totally analog, right? I don't have to worry about like digital drivers and junk. What's the tune? Let's take a look here. This is Torchka's Colors. So, Colors by Torchka's, another one. We're again listening to Krella's Relay over on the YouTube 24/7 chiptune channel. So if you like what you're hearing, you can definitely go check him out. Dude has some like obscure chiptune as well. Sometimes I'll hear something and go, "Yo, that's sick," and then I'll try to find it either on YouTube or anywhere else, and it's just like it's not there. He's also been like uploading stuff since like 2007 or something like that. Something crazy. Yep, good old chiptune. Because, you know, YouTube, that's the only thing on YouTube I can listen to without worrying about VOD going down. Or the stream, for that matter. I remember when I was streaming on Twitch, I didn't care if the VOD was muted because like I never saved any of my VODs. But the problem now is that the stream will actually go down if it's, you know, bad enough. Like I started listening to Warner Brothers records and oh boy, they don't like that. Which is annoying because a lot of bands I like are freaking Warner Brothers records. I would love to do another record stream and listen to some of my records. Heck, I got a new one actually. I got a new Clacky album I need to listen to. That'll be fun. Need to clean it up and throw it on at some point. Been just not doing stuff. But of course, all that music is, you know, 50 years old or whatever, so none of it's safe. It's all owned by some legacy company that the parent company probably doesn't even know exists, so, you know, that's fun. And no, I'm not joking about that. Actually, this sounds pretty cool. This is like more drum and bass. Malman Teardown. Huh. Kind of reminds me of what you know, indie soundtracks and stuff like that got into in the mid 2010s and such, or early 2010s. Let's go and do this on now, and we're actually, let's make sure it's lifted a little bit. What made me first start working on the comic? Well, that's kind of a funny story. So, truth be told, it didn't start off as a comic, right? Back in I want to say it was. Hold on, I gotta figure out the time. Yeah, it was 2020. It was like March of 2020, something like that. I was listening to a guitarist by the name of Ichika. He's a Japanese guitarist, really good, like crazy. And he did and I promise this is relevant, by the way. But he did a challenge thing where he was like, oh, hey, you know, audience, like, give me a tuning to play in and I'll play it. And so the very first one that he got was someone being like, oh yeah, play in A, B, C, D, E, F, you know, kind of as a joke. So he does, and it sounds amazing. Like, it's like, I highly recommend, like, go look it up. Yeah, it's just Ichika on YouTube. He's like super popular now, and this is an older video now, of course. But I was listening to that, and it gave me just this impression of this imagery in my head that I began to like really explore more and more. And what it really started as was, you know, it's hard to show here because like the imagery is kind of gone by this point in the chapter, but let me see if I can open up like an old pic of it. Yeah, actually, let's do is it landscape or is it concept? It's not concept art. Maybe it's landscape. Yeah, it's not, because it's not postcard. Yeah, here we are. Okay. So this is like really early concept art of the blanking as a whole. And for people on phone, I can kind of zoom out, get the whole picture. And basically, there was this strong impression. I saw the red, I saw kind of the gold trimming, I saw Blind, the character Blind, and I saw the mask. And it really started to get me to ask questions. The kind of the main one being like, okay, this character's in the woods, you know, what is she doing? And then that's when kind of the idea of the chess match kind of came into play, and the golem and everything like that. And you know, her playing this chess match against this, you know, inanimate object and stuff like that. And so I was thinking, I was like, okay, so what's tying this all together? And there was a really confusing part about it in this vision, like that I didn't understand. And I was like, why is she wearing a mask without eye holes? Like, why is that a thing? Like, how can she see? Like, does she need to see? Can she just straight up not see? And so I liked that idea. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe she can't see. Maybe she's blind. And so that's where that idea came from. All of this to say, I finally put together this concept in my head of this interaction between these two characters, the golem and the girl. And I was itching to make a short film. And so I was still in university at the time, and technically we were starting a short film class, so I was like, oh, good. And I was really frustrated because I looked at like what the assignments were gonna be and everything like that, and I was like, this is not a freaking short film class. What are we doing with our time here? So I pitched, I developed it over the summer, that summer of 2020. I did the character turnarounds, I came up with the script, I actually developed the storyboards and the animatic with some help. Some feedback and such, and then I pitched it to one of my professors, and I was like, either way, I'm going to be doing this. Will this count as my grade, though? That's what I want to know. And he's like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, sick. So I was on point. You got to go? All right, catch you later, Damachi. Have a good one. And so I spent the next 4 months, I want to say, working on the production, which is great. I loved it. I absolutely loved working on the film. And the film is available on my channel. It's just right there. And I finished it. I actually finished it. I worked on it with my sound designer. And we didn't get it out until like June of 2021 or something like that, which it's freaking crazy to think that was like 4 years ago now going on. Oh, good. Awesome. You're still listening. Wait. And so after that, the problem was, though, by the time I finished the film, there were so many questions. I had so many questions and was so intrigued with the idea that I was like, well, I kind of feel inclined to continue it. Like, I feel like, because the film quite literally is in the middle of the story. You don't have the context of what's happening. You're not supposed to, really. It's supposed to make you think, right? And so I wanted to expand on that, but still maintain that sort of, like, incorporeal kind of feeling to it. Like, you're not supposed to fully understand it, but but at the same time tell more of a complete story. So that you can like follow along, right? And so I was like, well, I can't do that in animation form. Well, I in theory I could, but like I don't want to be working on it for the next 10 years plus. Instead, I'll make it a comic. Surely that won't take too long. I kind of always knew that it was going to take a while, but I was hoping to get into a quicker flow. But I always knew that there was that risk of it taking forever because, you know, art takes a long time. And so that's how it started. It started as the film, and there was just too much left to explore. So I said, well, frick it, I'll just make it into a comic. And here I am. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, because previous to that film, I had made a film every like 3 years, and that was the same case for The Blind King. Like, that was the film I made after like 3 years since the last one I made, right? And so technically, I've fallen by the wayside in that regard. I did kind of a microfilm a little while back, which I really enjoyed working on. So that kind of satiated me, but like I would love to work on another short film, honestly. Which is hard because now it's like, well, I have the comics to work on, so it's like it's not really realistic for me to do right now, at least at the scale I want to. After this comic is done, I have plans for my next film, and I do want to start like storyboarding it, because I can at least do that, work on the pre-production kind of stuff. But until then, my plan is to use other things to kind of like get some animating in there, and do like little skits and stuff like that. Mostly with the monster kids that I've been doing art for. I have plans to do more like animated stuff with them, which I'm really looking forward to, and it seems like a lot of people are kind of looking forward to that. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, like most things with my art, I kind of fell into it backwards. Because never really planned to be a comic artist. Well, I don't know. That's not entirely true. Because I did have comic ideas before this. In fact, I wrote a whole doggone 85-page script that was planning a 300-page graphic novel. So still need to get back to that idea. But as you can guess, I'm not exactly hankering to start that project up, since I haven't even finished my 140-page graphic novel in the 4 years I've been working on it almost. And it probably won't be done for yet more time, so. So much to do, man. There's so much to do. Honestly, I wish I got paid for it, but it is what it is. That's mostly on me. It's up to me to figure out how to monetize and whatnot. But the nice thing is that the jobs that I've been getting have given me the time to be able to work on stuff, and the time I don't have to work on things is mostly my fault anyway, so. Like, in theory, I could get more done. Like, I could push myself more, but that's a whole other history in and of itself. The reason I am the way I am. Curse of creativity. Yeah, it kind of is, right? You put that /J, but it kind of is. It's still fun, though. And honestly, I'm just grateful that I do have the time to do it, and that, like, honestly, like, anyone pays attention to it, you know? The fact that people take interest is, it's like, oh, hey, maybe I am doing something here. It's kind of cool. And who knows, you know, maybe at some point I'll be able to really have something to offer for people who feel like it's worth it to invest in. Should be cool. Keep working towards that. I think this is Fear of Dark? It is, Snowbird, yeah. Fear of Dark has a pretty distinct style. Mostly does a lot of Family Tracker kind of stuff. Very jazzy. Kind of interesting. Very good composition. Crazy how long that guy's been doing that as well. Still puts out music. I don't know, I think that's part of the reason why I'm kind of drawn to like chiptune music and such, is it really kind of reminds me of myself creatively. Like, you don't get into chiptune music to like make it big in the music industry or anything like that, right? Like, that's not why you do it. You know, and that's certainly not why I'm working on this comic. But the cool thing is it still exists. Someone made it. Playing a lot. Yeah, there's always that. It's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of obviously it reminds me of, you know, the older games and stuff like that, or even like indie games and whatnot. But what it really reminds me of is like when I started getting into chiptune, which was, you know, 2000, technically like 2013, I think, or something like that. So kind of late to the game, honestly, because the really the golden age of chiptune was like early 2000s to about 2015, I would say, because that's when you had like all the really big Swedish artists doing their thing, like Dunda Patrullen, Meganico, Friggin, Phantom NK, Rimcraft, and all those guys, and they're still doing stuff, like a lot of them at least. I think Rimcraft put out something not too long ago, and Dunda Patrullen are still kind of doing stuff. Just a lot slower now, you know, because it's more realistic that way for them. But you know, there was a time when like there was like, these albums like coming out and stuff like that, and it was really fun to kind of explore and learn about it and whatnot. But even before that, you had like Dub Mood, or you had Chip Cell, or the really big one, which I never really got into, but really popularized chiptune Anamanaguchi, with the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack. But I don't know, it's just so much fun. It's so much fun to explore this sort of hidden genre, I guess. Like, it's not terribly hard to find or anything like that. Gotta go, have a good night. All right, catch you later there, Wrangler. God bless, man. Have a good one. Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, so that's what I like about chiptune. It kind of reminds me of that like lazy summer kind of feeling. You know what? Hold on. Something like that. Maybe that. You know, it's kind of funny. I've been thinking about like retro games lately a lot and whatnot, because like it's really interesting getting a chance to talk to like younger kids and stuff like that a lot, because you know, I'm a teacher, and getting a sense of where they're at with like things like video games, right? And it was really fun because I had some students of mine who were getting into like PS2, right? You know, stuff I grew up with. And now that's the new retro, right? Like it or not, you know, 20 years ago is now 2000, right? 2005. And so it's on one hand fun to see that same sort of spirit kind of returning for games like that, where it's just like you're witnessing a new magic kind of being born, I guess. But at the same time, like I think about like what was that same sort of magic when I was growing up, which would have been the NES, right? The NES would basically be the equivalent of the PS2 today, which is like a crazy thought, right? It's kind of funny to think. But now, like, people still talk about the NES. They still talk about like the big games and stuff like that. But there was a time, man, especially on like YouTube, where like there was a whole culture around that. You know, there was this whole kind of vibrant, you know, that community and everything like that. It was, you know, young despite it being old, right? Now in the same way that's how PS2 feels for, you know, these kids who are just discovering this stuff. And so it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to see that sort of transform once again, I suppose, into something new. And so I hooked up my my NES the other day, and I was playing what's it called? Legacy of the Wizard, which isn't a super like no one really knows about that game, right? I didn't know about it until I accidentally I was looking for Wizard of Legend, and I think I typed in like Legend of the Wizard or something like that, and then that comes up, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a neat NES game, right? But anyway, so I was kind of messing around with it again, and there's now kind of this kind of new feeling to it. I don't know. It feels like it's actually past its time, I guess is the best way to put it. Retired, as it were. Because even like indie games and stuff like that aren't doing a whole lot of like harken back kind of stuff with like pixel art and whatnot. Some of it, you know, you still have pixel art here and there, but it doesn't feel like as much of a like tribute, I guess. It's just because pixel art's a viable art form, right? It's kind of transformed as well in and of itself. I always hate doing ropes. It's always annoying. So yeah, no, it was kind of interesting, right? A console that you would think would be, it has been out of date, technically speaking, for decades, right? Was out of date when I was a kid. But still had like a new life to it. Is now not dead. I wouldn't call it dead or anything like that, but just kind of, I don't know. Like I said, it's retired. It's like it's enjoying its retirement or something. It's kind of funny. I'm really curious, like, how, because right now we're in the midst of, like, everybody going crazy over, I guess, N64 style graphics or PS1 style graphics and stuff like that. And even that's starting to, like, wane. Like, it's kind of played out. It's kind of crazy how fast things play out now. Like, they kind of get driven into the ground real fast because, you know, everyone just kind of jumps on board. But it makes me wonder if, like, the next step is going to be, like, I don't know, like GameCube inspired graphics or PS2 or whatnot. And it only makes sense, honestly. Wonder what that's going to look like. I mean, truth be told, I mean, like, a lot of the games on PS2, there's a lot of games that look really good on PS2. That's why I thought it was kind of funny that they remade Silent Hill 2, because I'm like, that game still looks really good, like, in general, in my opinion. Like, okay, yeah, it's fuzzy or whatever, but, like, does that really matter? Really, all that much? I don't really think so, honestly. Runs through trends fast, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Well, now, especially, you know, nowadays more than ever, right? Because there's all the more reason to jump on things, right? We have so much incentive to get in on stuff. And in some ways, you know, that's an interesting thought, is is that why oops, you know, NES graphics or the NES in general is in that state now where it kind of feels played out because everyone was into it back in the day, right? Like you had all these YouTube personalities doing such and such game reviews or whatever, to the point that, I mean, that burnt out a long time ago now. Like, yeah, it's very rare that I see just NES game reviews now crop up, I should say. So you saw the emo stuff was around for a lot longer than TikTok? Yeah. And I guess that's just the nature of it. What also really gets me as far as games goes is how, ironically, I suppose, how long games last nowadays. Because I've taught students who like still play like League of Legends, right? And I always tell them, like, maybe, you know, cut that stuff out of your life. You don't need that toxicity in your life, but it is what it is. Mostly just joking with him, but it's like that game's been around for like over a decade. If people are like, it's still like a thing, you know. It's crazy that games last that long now. Kind of helped kill it fast. Did the NES and SNES Mini come out 10 years ago? I think you're right. Holy crap, yeah, just about. November 10th, 2016, so in a year, basically. Man, that's crazy. And then the SNES Mini was 2017, was the next year. It's crazy that, you know, 2017 is as long ago as it is. The controls suck. I mean, that was NES games in a nutshell. I mean, you play most of those old games. It's so funny because, like, I mean, you can get used to it. 2016 was almost a decade ago. Yeah, like, it's, yeah, crazy, right? But like, I don't, you know, you go back to those old NES games, and it's like, oh man, we have made strides in just control alone. You know, it's kind of funny, kind of crazy. I don't know. At the same time, that I think that was part of the endearing quality of it, was so foreign, right, to your natural sensibility as far as like what the refinement of gaming had become at that time. Because in the, you know, 2010s, I mean, games were kind of set, like way they controlled, the way they worked, you know, everything like that. And then you go and play friggin' like, I don't know, Metal Mech or something like that, something really crazy. It's just like, what the heck is going, like, how does this control? Like, I don't know. Cords were super short, only about 1.5 feet long. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that being a problem with the Mini itself. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the really interesting thing is it's interesting the way that, I suppose, like, the spirit of something changes over the years. It all has to do with a myriad of factors, you know. who's into it, why they're into it, you know, is it nostalgia, is it genuine curiosity, is it, you know, a trend, pop culture kind of thing, you know. One of the most recent games you played is just beat by button mashing. Yeah, that reminds me of a part in a video I saw of is it Arkham Knight or something like that, where it's just like beat the game by hitting triangle a whole lot. It shows him just like mashing the triangle button, just like countering everything, so you just win. It's like, yes. Oh, I love Oblivion. Oblivion was so much fun. Oblivion was great to grow up on, honestly. It was so much fun to just sit down and play. I fired up, it was so funny. I fired up my my old save on the 360 from like ages ago. And was kind of messing around and looking around at everything and stuff like that. It's just like, wow, man. This was, it's kind of funny. It's, like, it's one of those cases where it's like, man, everything was a lot bigger back then. Everything felt a lot bigger back then when you were a kid. And young, you keep doing that, I'm gonna time you out, man. Story's all that matters. That, to be fair, yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like the story, and I would say like the feel. Like if you get a good just feel from a game, like I've always said, like if you can make just running around, fun, then it's super fun. Like just running around is fun. The archers, like I was doing archery in Elder Scrolls games. I remember one, oh my gosh, that reminds me of, it was one of the last times I played the game on 360 at least. Well, actually, like in general, I guess. I remember, yeah, it's so funny when you learn those games really well, you can, the things you can screw around with. Because I remember I started a new character. I forget what I was gonna do with them, but I found Umbra, which Umbra is like this really powerful character you're supposed to fight later for a quest. But I found her because she's just in a ruin. Never played Oblivion. You should give it a shot. It's like, you gotta embrace the jank. You gotta be down for like a janky experience and whatnot. But like, there's also just nothing quite like it. I don't know how I feel about this eye. These eyes in general. They're almost right. Almost. But basically she has like insane equipment, like really high-end equipment and whatnot, and a really like the strongest sword in the game or something like that. And so I take her off, and of course she's gonna kill me, because of course. And so I like I'm at level 1. I just got out of the sewers. I went straight to the spot where this character is, and I'm like, oh crap, how am I gonna do this? Like, how am I gonna do this? And in classic fashion, there was a building. Yeah, I'm gonna redo those guys. There's a building with a sloped roof, so I jump on that. I pull out a bow and I put probably like 200 arrows. End up killing her and taking all the loot, and I'm just like, hey, I did it. And then I didn't play that character again after that. I didn't know what to do with them. I'm like, I won the game, I guess. 25. It's not quite 25 years old. It's about 20 years old now. Yeah, because what? It was like 2005 it came out. So it's getting there. It's almost there. I don't like these guys. Just running and jumping a lot so I could skip over bosses. What were you playing, Half-Life? Actually, now I'm curious what it was. Because that's always, man, it's always so fun when you find movement glitches and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this wasn't intentional. Okay, I like most everything else. Yeah. Yeah, time moves on, man. I don't know, there's fun to be had with like I said, it's really exciting to see, you know, students get into like PS2 games and whatnot, and then be like, oh yeah, I was there for that, you know. Game was pretty obscure. Okay. Do you remember like what console it was or anything like that? Just out of curiosity. That's a bit better. A bit more. Yeah, I like that. Dang, we've been going for 2 hours and I'm still working on this panel. Yeah, I knew this was going to be a tricky panel. This one won't be so bad. This one, hopefully as well, won't be so bad. This set, there's going to be some tricky things in there, but I'll worry about that when I get there. Oh, it's a mobile game. I see. I was around at the beginning, or however that goes, yeah. I was there when it was written. I've kind of pulled that card on some of my students, man, because like I'm privy to like popular games, so I had like a student animating Hollow Knight and whatnot. I'm like, oh hey, animating or no, he was animating like Zote or something like that, the Gray Prince from Hollow Knight, and I pull that out. I'm like, oh hey, it's the Gray Prince. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, I know these things, man. I fought that guy. He sucked. Hated every freaking minute of it. How do I not know? So that's kind of fun. That's kind of the interesting thing as well. Like, I feel like I don't know if it at this point is an age thing, because I'm not like terribly old, right? I'm 27. But I'm able to like, I know games and stuff like that, and that's always popular amongst a lot of different generations now. And so I'm able to kind of like use that to connect, which is, you know, useful when you're teaching, right? Because it's a lot easier to teach. Let me tell you, it's a lot easier to teach when you're the teacher who knows what Zelda is, like straight up. You know, it's funny. The only mobile game I've ever really played, their Firebug, is Sky Children of Light. Got into that one a little bit back in the day. It was a lot of fun. All right, catch you, Maji. Hope it all works out. Should I? No, I'll do her hair after, because then I can figure out what exactly the lines are going to be. Not quite, no. Funny to think. Well, actually, I think it's on PC now. Funny enough, Sky Children of Light. That is. I don't know. Maybe I should get back into it. It was kind of fun, kind of repetitive. Not like a ton to do, but it was fun to explore around with friends and such. Had good art too. It was fun. Oh wait, hold on. Cause she's grabbing her. I'm gonna say she's grabbing this part. Of, so I need to. Will that work? Yeah, that'll work. Hold on. That actually... I need to make the thumb a bit smaller. I always make her hands a little too big, honestly. It's easier to draw bigger hands, honestly. Like, if you're getting into drawing hands, draw them, like, big, like, strong, meaty hands. That's an easy place to start. Because you can put a lot of emphasis on the anatomy of the hand. It's actually a lot more challenging when a character has like smaller, more subtle hands. Actually, it's funny if you go back to the early chapters and you look at the way I drew hands, you can kind of tell that I was like really looking at my hand. With a lot more gnarly. Yeah, for sure. That's what makes his hands, the Rook's hands, a lot easier to draw. Is like, I mean, they're just these big like clay mitts, you know. Like, there's a lot of shape you can get away with. But hers, it's like, okay, every line has to kind of know what it is, you know. Unless it's really small, then it's a lot easier. But close her up, it's kind of challenging stuff for me. Honestly, I should probably do some more studies of her hands or smaller hands. I think that'd be really good practice. I've been drawing hands for 3 years because of this comic, and I'm still not good at it. Another one of those situations where, you know, you can only learn so much from one project. Just can't get away with as much. Yeah, there is a certain kind of precision you need, I would say. Get it right. I would say though that women tend to be easier to draw as far as like pose goes. You can get away with more as far as like a feminine pose, in my opinion. Guys are tend to be pretty stiff, so it's a little bit more challenging to make that look interesting, but pretty satisfying when you get it. Yeah, I don't know, something about it. Just the expression, sense of expression that comes through. It's really starting to go together. Actually, yeah, I do like how this panel's coming out. I was a little bit worried when I started. I was like, oh boy, I don't know if I'm in the mood to work on a panel like this, but yeah, I think that sketch really helped to kind of nail down the more intricate details I needed. And it's not perfect, but it's good enough, right? It's that 80%, right? That's the thing I try to kind of push is, so it's something that I heard by like a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that. So go for 80%, right? And then release it. Kind of has to do with that, learning from projects, kind of. Hand. Too sausage. Okay. But kind of has to do with that prospect of, how much can you actually get out of the project, right? And how much is it really worth polishing something versus moving on and just taking that knowledge with you. This is 3 fingers and 4. That's the case. Alternatively, I can have her hand on the... Actually, I like that idea. One second. Let's not have her wrapping her fingers around. Let's have her just... flat palm. How complicated... How much do I want to hate my life right now? How complicated do I want to make this hand? One second. Because I could like have her fingers curled, which would give a little bit more of like a tense kind of feel to it. But that's gonna be annoying to get the right feel. That's almost actually correct right there. Do I like that? I need the if I'm gonna do that, I need the thumb to come forward. I actually kind of like it. Hold on, it's not... One second. This needs to be correct, but I actually kind of think it works. But at the same time, not. Maybe... Okay, hold on. Maybe if I kind of... the hand up a touch. Maybe if we hold on. Here's the magic to hands. Slap a slap a thumbnail on it or a fingernail. Suddenly it'll look like a hand. Except no, that doesn't. Holy cow, that looks not great. Okay. Less is more in this case. Sure. Maybe just connect it. Maybe it just I lead it. Maybe I just lead it. Maybe I just say, hey, sure, why not? Okay. I'm actually feeling pretty good. That's a nice thought. I don't know. Maybe this is maybe this panel is kind of the turning point for me. There's always kind of a turning point when you get into a slump, and I'm feeling like maybe I'm kind of on the verge of getting out of this slump, which would be nice. Get more done. Oh shoot! I need to think this through. Hold on. It would be like that. It would be like that. Man, this is a festive Sonic track. Well, the nose on her, or the line on her nose is a little bit. Something like that. Ear. And I still don't have like a solid method for ears. I just have a vague like idea. Ears are so weird because they just sort of hang there. They're just. It's like we have these like acoustically tuned pieces of skin just like hanging out. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. But I find that this shape tends to do the job actually surprisingly well. I feel like it shouldn't. I feel like I always cheat ears. They're like the opposite of hands. It's like it's surprisingly hard to screw up an ear. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, hair. Let's go. If you're going for sadness, I'm going for like just sheer worry. Like, I'm afraid he's not gonna come back, kind of look. Actually. I'm actually gonna do that. But yeah, I do like. I actually do. I'm glad I redid the eyes. I think that looks a lot stronger. So I'm glad that actually is coming across. Trepidation. Yeah, that's a good word. I like that. Because you know, this is. Come on. That's the wrong. Why can't I get this to take? Oh wait, that. Oh, it's the same page. Okay. Because this is what she looks like later on, right? So, gotta have that build up to that. Oh, oh, that's funny. Oh, hey, maybe some of your characters had alopecia. I always, whenever I see a character without eyebrows, though, it always reminds me of Super Saiyan 3. A big old forehead, no eyebrow having. Always makes me laugh. But it is kind of interesting how much eyebrows add to the expression of a character. Like if I were to erase them here. Actually, when she doesn't have eyebrows, it reminds me of that Japanese fashion that was a thing during... Crap, what era was that? Was that the Warring Clans period? It was around then. But it's when women would... I don't know the full context yet. It'd actually be kind of interesting, but it seemed like it was a thing that like upper class women or royalty would do, where they would shave their eyebrows, they would paint a dot above either, paint their faces white, and then like paint their teeth like black or something. It was like, I don't know, maybe that's more theatrical. I'm not entirely sure, but it certainly looks strange, that's for sure. But yeah, whenever she doesn't have eyebrows, it reminds me of that look. I'm correct. Yeah, if you have insight there, King Bob, like, let me know. I'm very curious. Because, you know, it's one of those things you watch me and my brother, we watched, actually, and I do recommend this movie if you want an older, like, horror movie to watch or something. It's an anthology. It's really cool. It's called Kwaidon. Kwaidon, I believe, or Dan or something like that. And it's a Japanese horror anthology, and it's very theatrical. It's really cool. And so you'd see something like that. You know, one of the women dressed like that, or in that fashion. It's just like, what in the world? You know. Of course, there's some kind of culture behind it that you just don't know. I saw black teeth in a TV show or movie once. I had to do some research. Interesting. So that was a thing, huh? Huh, I wonder why that is. Who knows? Yeah, probably someone. Maybe you can give me some insight. I certainly don't. Vegetarians are so interesting. I think there was a period in Irish Catholic culture a couple hundred years ago where they pluck their hairlines. Where from that? Oh, interesting. Huh, yeah, I wonder if... Yeah, I'm not sure. Guess it's the thing. Hold on. Make the thumbs just a little big. Maybe this line's a little... Yeah, that's good enough. And that's about how much hair she has. She's growing it out again. which I've explained before, but the reason is because I had at least 2 people compliment her hair when it was really long, because she used to have really long hair. And then she cuts it at one point, and then they were like, oh, those 2 people were like, oh, why did she have to cut her hair? It was really pretty. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should have thought of that. I'm like, she's in the desert. She doesn't want to have all that hair. It's hot. But it distinguished them as upper class, and believe it or not, it actually did preserve their teeth and make them wider when removed. Oh, that actually makes sense. That's interesting. So was it like coal or something like that? Did they use like charcoal or something like that? Because that would kind of make sense to act as both a buffer and like a barrier. Huh, interesting. Ooh, this sounds like Phantom and Gay. Ah, yeah, jump up and bounce down. Yeah, this is a cool track. Man, Phantom and Gay had some good stuff. He was a heck of a chiptune guy. Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. All right. To finish up, I still need to figure out what I'm going to write in the book, but otherwise, I can kind of clean things up like this and add some like blemishes and such. I actually really like how her face came out in this panel. I don't know, there's just something kind of haunting about it, which, yeah, that's what I wanted. Let's finish up the blemishes and such. Have to look at it again. Remember, Coca is more that it kept the usual things to kill teeth at the same time from doing that. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't really a thing back then. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. That's something. I wouldn't have even thought about that. That's really interesting. Well, let's go ahead and add a mask. I tend to use masks when I do these like internal lines, just in case I want to change things up later. Because essentially what a mask does is it allows it to be disabled really easily. So it's a non-destructive way of erasing lines. There we go. Dream was why that's the point of the mask is. Dream. The only person to try to take back a face review. And I can't entirely blame him, but it's just like, man. Think things through, man. I don't want to. Sure. I'll go with that, and then. Man, one thing that this I have gotten a lot better with in doing this comic is hatching. I used to be absolutely garbage at hatching. Now I'm slightly better than garbage. Yeah, I completely saw all that kind of go down from an outside perspective. I never got into that stuff. I just remember the whole cheating scandal, which just turned into the most awkward slap fight. Yeah. Man, that was so weird. It was just weird to me, like, dude, you didn't think to check. You didn't think to check. You didn't think to sit, like, look at the numbers and go, wait a minute, why did that happen? Hold on, that is weird. Honestly, the one thing that I think has really kind of I've definitely moved away from. Well, I never was really involved in it, I would say. Hashtag ASMR. How's it going, Guilty? Yeah, I took Trippy's advice and threw that in there. Funny enough, this is probably one of my most talkative streams because you guys have been awesome with the chats. So maybe maybe the ASMR thing isn't quite fitting for this one, but whatever. But like I was saying, the one thing that I've definitely kind of like become less, I guess, affable towards. I think that would be the right word. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to find a word because like it's not like about me being involved in it. It's just like, okay, you know, I could see that, you know, kind of thing. But like nowadays, I'm not so inclined towards that with, you know, the cult of personality, where it's just like, you know, here's this really popular YouTuber, blah blah blah. You know, isn't he cool? It's like, maybe. I don't know the guy. You know, like, you know, I think Markiplier is doing some neat stuff, like, you know, producing short films and stuff like that or whatever. Like, that's cool, you know. But I don't know the guy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like. Look, I teach 12-year-olds for a living, right? Like, it's, you don't want to put yourself in the crosshair. That's never fun. What's up, Random House? Well, see, that's the funny thing is like you know, when I first started streaming, I've mentioned this before. I've mentioned it before. I was like, oh, geez, like my keyboard's really loud. It was when I was using my old IBM Model M, which I gotta hook that thing back up. Like, I genuinely think that if I hook that thing back up, I would like get way more writing done. Like genuinely, because like it's amazing to write on. I love writing on that keyboard. But anyway, I was super worried because I was like, oh man, are people gonna like join in and hear the clicky clackies and be like, like that's so annoying. Like, why do you have such a loud keyboard, stuff like that? But no, like it was the exact opposite. It was, people were like, yo, I love the sound of your keyboard. It's like it's awesome. Like it's super relaxing and stuff. I'm like, oh, yo, something to capitalize on. So I never worried about it, and it's never been a problem, which is nice. At least not a problem that anyone has mentioned. And, hey, maybe I'm not the right stream for them. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. She's not blonde. So I like to give, a little bit of texture to her hair. See, I'm not a fan of ASMR like at all. Like it bothers me. You know, it's like, oh no, like get out of my ear, you know, kind of stuff. Like, I don't like that, right? So like I don't get it. You know, I don't really understand. Like, oh, you like the sound of the keyboard. Like, I can appreciate good clicky clacks, but like, I don't know. It's not relaxing. It's just background noise to me. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't do anything with me. I guess that's true there, King Bob. I guess it comes with the territory. Which, to be fair, like I appreciate a good mechanical keyboard myself. That's why I got an IBM Model M. Honestly, my next keyboard, whatever I decide to I need to buy a keyboard. Because right now I'm running like a Red Dragon something blah blah blah. I don't know what the model is. It was a gift, which was it was a really nice gift. My roommate last year when I was in university, he was like, "Yo, you want a keyboard?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty nice." So I've just been running with it, right? And so I don't plan on replacing it anytime soon because it's a gift, right? It's a really nice gesture, and it's it works great. This keyboard works great. But if something were to happen to it, or I would need to replace it for one reason or another, or maybe even just eventually, in time, I would want to get a USB Model M. There's a company that actually makes Model M style keyboards, with like the original mold, the original feel, and everything like that. But it's USB, so it's modernized. Because this old bad boy down here that I have, it's freaking oh well, it's plugged in right now, so I can't show, but it's PS-2. And doggone it, they took PS-2 away from motherboards, which is cursed. It should never have happened. It should never have gone away, man. Every motherboard should have a PS-2 spot. Every last one, I say. Okay. Where is? Oh, here it is. Okay. How do I want to do this? Wouldn't listen. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, some of my streams are pretty darn close. I suppose I always have the music though. If you want crazy expensive, rock a Moonlander? Like that kind of, is that a keyboard? ZSA. Well, oh, that's one of them ergonomic keyboards. Actually, that kind of looks sick. I actually low-key would like that. I think. How much do they go for? 1 second. Oh, you have to customize the darn thing. Oh! Basic is just the low price of $365. Ooh, yeah, no thanks. Split ergo keyboards. Yeah, like I could see that being really useful. I mean, it would be super nice because here's the thing, like it looks like it's a little bit bigger. My hand, the one thing I don't care for on this keyboard is it's a little tight. It's not terrible. But it does feel a little tight. This looks like the keys are spread out a little bit more. And then what would be nice is like, I try to make it so that pretty much everything is on one side of the keyboard. There's a couple of exceptions here and there. But then I could position the one half in a really good spot. Boy, that would be nice, but not not worth $365. That's for sure. No, that's the nice thing about the Model M keyboards is I think they go for like 60 or something like that, which is a little, you know, that's a little pricey, but like that's also reasonable, right? Like I could see myself spending $60 on a keyboard I'm gonna love, right? You know, it's not the $5 Logitech, you know, bargain special from Goodwill, but you know, which fun fact was what I was using before I got this keyboard for my roommate. Because I was down in university, so I needed a new keyboard, and so I bought a. I just went to a thrift store and bought just a crappy Logitech keyboard. I was like, that's good enough for me. And I actually tore out the Windows key because I kept on accidentally hitting it instead of Control when I was Control-Zing. So it's like, I don't need this. I just ripped it out. Extremely customizable. Yeah, no, that would be nice, but yeah. Oh, you run it though, King Bob? You run a split ergo keyboard? Man, that would be kind of cool. I imagine that would be nice for doing like a very like comfortable setup. I imagine if you're doing a lot at your computer, probably worth the investment, honestly. Pretty much marketed your Bluetooth keyboard from regular use. It happens. Man, I had so I'm not gonna lie. So the keyboard I like, right? The mouse, on the other hand, that I got. Oh boy. I like it in concept. It feels all right. But doggone, I'm never buying another EVGA mouse ever friggin' again. Because this is technically my second EVGA mouse. Because I had to send the other one in. Because the scroll wheel stopped working. On a higher end mouse. It's not like a high end mouse, but like, it's no slouch, right? I can't remember exactly what I spent on it. I think it was like 40 bucks though. It's like, okay, that's not like the most money. But doggone, I expect something to work for more than, 6 months. For $40, especially when the Asus Republic of Gamers mouse that I got like 15 freaking years ago from my dad for free because he just found it one day in like an e-waste spot, worked for like 12 of those years before it started even showing signs that the right mouse click button was giving out. Like, that's kind of what I'm expecting here, guys. And it's annoying because the scroll wheel, again, is acting up. It hasn't failed completely. But, like, if it gives out, I don't know. I'll probably have to get another mouse. Because, like, honestly, like, it's just super annoying. But the reason I bought that mouse, the mouse I have, the X15, is because it's an MMO mouse, so it has a crap ton of buttons on it. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. I can customize, like, what all these buttons do for, like, editing and Blender and junk like that. Which is really nice. It is nice having all those buttons. Yeah, no, that makes total sense for you there, King Bob. Gotta invest in the things that are gonna make your life better, right? Use a Bluetooth mouse Relect, TWL for 6 months per year. Nice. I tend to stick with wired. I don't know. I like not having to worry about batteries and stuff like that. And the wire never really bothers me all that much, unless it's in a really particularly bad spot. But this one works nice. So. But yeah, I knew it was a problem when I went on EVGA's like return thing or whatever, and I'm filling it out and whatnot. And it's like, oh, why are you returning it? And I click on it, and there's a specific issue related to, oh yeah, scroll wheel issue. Or scroll wheel failure. It's like, Oh, so this is a known issue. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, I guess. I'm just really salty. Honestly, like, I want bigger mice, like wider mice. I never feel like a mouse is wide enough for me. I always feel like my hands get like really cramped when I'm using it. It's annoying. I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but like doggone, I like my hands to be flat, not curled. Oof, yeah, that sounds annoying. Yeah, I could totally understand going over to a wireless mouse after that. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. I'll say that's good enough. It's a little funny with the floor panels or whatever there, but it could be all right. Okay, let's go ahead and mask this. Again, I just like to have that control kind of preserved. Yeah, it's just I like it to fill out my hand more, you know. Just I don't, like I said, I don't want to like curl my hand around it. It's like ugh, really cramps the hand. The Asus mouse I had wasn't too bad. This one's okay. It's not the worst, but it's, I don't know. I feel like it could be just a bit wider. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty comfy. Funny enough, actually, the same guy who gave me this Red Dragon keyboard, he did also gave me a Death Adder as well with it, and he actually traded the Asus mouse that I had that I was rocking originally. I traded that to him, but then he came back and he I could tell he felt bad, but it was really no problem. But he's like, "Hey man, could we trade back the mouse? You can keep the keyboard." He let me keep the keyboard. He's like, "You can keep the keyboard, absolutely." Like, "Could we trade back the mouse?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's no problem, man." So I didn't get to keep the Death Adder. It was a pretty nice mouse. The only thing I didn't like about it was it didn't have. It was pretty basic. It didn't have like a front and back button, which I'd gotten really used to really enjoying and really appreciating. Still, it was a nice mouse. It felt very comfortable. Lots of customizability and stuff like that. I'd be rocking that right now if I still had it. But yeah, I think he was regretting getting rid of it, and it was no big deal to give it back, honestly. An old Belkin. I don't know if I've heard of Belkin mice. Okay. Maybe I've probably seen them around. This definitely, yeah, looks like a kind of an older brand. Honestly, I like how flat older mice are. I don't know, like it doesn't force my pinky down when it's a flatter mouse. Because otherwise, like this mouse, like, I mean, it's big, right? It comes up, and part of that's probably the fact that it has all the face buttons on the side. But man, if there was just like a little platform or something for my pinky to rest on, that would be, oh my gosh, that'd be so much better. Funny enough, I think I was looking at a Red Dragon that did something like that. I probably should have gone with that mouse, honestly, but if this one gives out, I'll probably look back at that one. Or maybe try to find an alternative. Okay, that all being said, oh boy, we're getting close to 8. I'm actually technically not done with this page. I still need to write things out in Braille, but I need to figure out what I'm going to write in Braille. So I need to figure that out. That being said, I am going to wrap it up here. And yeah, we got one panel done. That's kind of been my the status quo as of late, but I am actually quite happy with how this panel came out. I like the drama of the hand being there holding the harpoon, her looking over, and just like, yeah, no, I think that it comes across really well. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that he looks natural enough climbing down on this rope. And we're gonna go over to this one. Hopefully I work on this before next week, because I do need to pick up the pace. I really want to get these pages done. Sooner the better. But yeah. Trying out a basilisk is like an adverb with a thumb rest. Oh, that sounds kind of nice. All right, that being said, I will be back on Tuesday. I'm probably going to be really tired. I've got a lot of work coming up, which is good. I'm actually really happy about that, but probably going to be really tired. But that's okay. That's my status quo. So we'll see how much I get done in the next couple weeks. I'm going to try to get these pages done by the end of February. That's kind of my goal, ideally. I have a lot to do, so I've got to really pick up the pace. I've got to be doing more than a page a week, or worse. So yeah, we're gonna try to get this page done next week, and then move on to the next one. And just, I mean, at the end of the day, however long it takes is however long it takes. All right. That being said, like I said, back on Tuesday next week. And so if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe if you want to catch that stream. I really highly encourage it. I'd love to have you back. It was actually awesome having you guys here. Super fun stream. So always really appreciate that. That being said, I'll see you guys next time. So have a good one. Take care. Good night. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. No, I don't think that's it. So yeah. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Goodbye.